Yeah. I mean, I think we keep putting good things on tape, and obviously we had a couple of weeks where we started pretty slow, but we're able to make adjustments at halftime that helped us win games. But I still feel like we haven't put together a full game of just where we're going out flying around, similar to what we did versus like Oklahoma. So obviously I think that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So we're just going to continue to keep working and keep trying to put all those things together. Yeah, obviously, his experience and him being an older guy, just him being on the field with us, we felt that presence. So obviously that was a good thing. But everybody in the room is capable. So he just has that attacking mentality. Being a shorter corner, he has to be kind of more aggressive, and he carries that. He carries that, in his personality. So just his competitive nature, it drives us, and he just has that dog in him. So. I really didn't have any expectations, honestly. I'd say I came in with an open mind, but it's met all my expectations. It's been everything I could have asked for. Um, personally, team wise, everything. So everything's just been great, and I'm really thankful for it. They obviously have a lot of playmakers. They have a really good quarterback, obviously, really good running back. Um, Xavier Worthy's pretty good. So we're just gonna have to do what we do. We're gonna have to execute, and we're gonna have to get off the field. We can't keep those guys around for too long. We got to just go out and do our job, get off the field, and get the ball back to our offense, and win in the turnover battle. We need to create more turnovers. Um, Last couple of weeks, we've had a few, but we need to really focus on getting the ball back. Yeah, I mean, tackling is want to. So just being able to stick your nose in there and put your body on them. We can't. We got to take that extra step and not just jump off the diving board and going for legs. We got to make sure you really get your body on him so that he does go down on that first contact. And obviously, the style of defense that we play, running to the ball, everybody running to the ball, that also helps because if you do have one guy that misses a tackle, there's three more guys around the ball to instead of him turning a what should be a 1 yard gain into a 5 6 yard gain, it eliminates everything. And obviously, second and long is way better than second and five. It kind of closes up their playbook. So honestly, it's all about communication. I feel like everybody in the Big 12 is a good team. So obviously, week in and week out, we're gonna have our work cut out for us. But communication is key. Just trusting our training. We can't get too high, we can't get too low. And one thing we've been preaching is next play, whether it's a good play or a bad play. Just always worry about the next play. So just being able to erase whatever happened last play, last drive, and just keep moving forward because football is a game of highs and lows, and whoever's able to weather the storm the best ends up winning the game. I think it comes with our mentality every day. We weren't picked to do anything this year, so it, we kind of take on the role as underdogs. And one saying that I like is underdogs are hungry dogs run faster. So I think right now we kind of have something to prove, especially with all the noise and all the talk that's been going on. But we don't really pay attention to any of it. We just come in and work every day and just try to keep getting better because obviously we know that yeah, we're 9-0, but we still have 3 games left on our schedule in the regular season, and then whatever is on from that, we'll worry about that when that time comes. But this week we just focus on Texas and trying to take that next step. I wouldn't say it changes much. Obviously D is a really good leader, and he's a big part of our defense. But we believe in the guys that that are behind D. Obviously on Saturday, Shad came in and he made some big plays as well. So I think it's just kind of that next man up mentality.
How impactful would it be to get Quentin Johnston back in line for you guys when your team happens? But what does it do for you guys on and off the field?
Yeah, that's obviously big as well. He's a big part of our offense. But like I said, it's kind of similar to D. All the receivers behind Quentin are just as capable as Quentin is. But obviously we love to have Quentin on the field with us. But his health comes first. So
Mark, how much confidence did it kind of give you guys against Texas Tech where you had a game really for the first time this year where the offense was struggling to score, but you guys defensively were able to keep them in the game? How much confidence did that give y'all?
it gave us a lot of confidence. I think the thing with us was, in previous weeks we would tell ourselves that we can't always rely on the offense to keep putting up this high amount of points to keep us in the game. So eventually, it was going to fall back on us. And I think Saturday, that was our chance to show that we can get stops, we can get them the ball back, and keep us in games. So I think that did a lot for our confidence. But obviously, it's still things to build on, still things to get better at, and obviously, they're going to get back on their right track. But that was good for us.
Mark, is there anything specific to stand out about Texas?
I'd say they have multiple different types of receivers. Obviously, Xavier Worthy's kind of like a take the top off kind of receiver. He's not super big. Um, Worthington, he's more of the bigger kind of receiver. They have some tight ends that do different kind of things. So I think they have really good pass catchers. But like I said, we just kind of focus on us right now and just trying to do what we can.
What have you been told about the type of atmosphere that you've got? The first time you played Texas Tech.
Yeah. Well, when I was in Colorado, we played them in the Alamo Bowl 2020, but I didn't play because I had COVID. But yeah, my first time being to Texas. It'll be a good environment. Away games are always good environments. College game day going to be there, so it's going to be a fun time. But just trying not to let the distractions get in, and just being able to focus on the game and being able to execute. That's going to be big for us, and it's going to be a challenge. Obviously road games are challenges already, but when you're playing a good opponent as well, it's going to be a challenge. But we're looking forward to it and going out there and competing. No, Bradford.
Anything else for Mark? Mark, I know Gary Patterson didn't coach you, but what is that like facing somebody on the opposing sideline who intimately knows a lot of your team and a lot of their strengths?
Hmm. Yeah, I think for them, obviously that'll be big. Going against their former coach, I had to deal with something similar earlier in the year, but like I said, distractions. Just trying to limit the distractions. It's only going to be a distraction if you let it be. Um, yeah,
Thanks, Mark.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark. We have Alon Ali next. Straight questions.
Um, I'd say five probably. I don't know. Kaz would know. I'm not really sure.
Walk through kind of the first, three quarters in Texas Tech. I guess what were they showing you guys that made kind of calm you guys thought it was just what it was?
I think they just kind of loaded the box a little bit. Definitely trying to stop our run game in that first half. And then we just weren't doing our basic things. We weren't executing right. I think when we go back and watch the film, if we execute correctly and do the little things right, that first half's totally different. So it was more of an us thing than them.
Alon, it feels like you kind of stepped right in. Maybe it took longer than you thought, but with a group of returners that had so much experience, you guys seem like this real continuity. How long did it take?
I would say in the spring it started to develop a little bit. It really got good in the summertime. I'd say just eating breakfast together every morning, eating lunch together every day. So you're constantly around the guys all day, every day, and we're all pretty similar. A bunch of competitive guys who just want to win. So when you have a group like that, I feel like the cohesiveness was pretty easy, honestly.
You all hang out outside of football because they all seem like good people.
Oh yeah, we're constantly with each other all the time. There's not a day we don't see each other. So
I thought about Texas defensive line of the front seven.
their D tackles are big. There's some big dudes, physical. Um, 99 is an older player. He's experienced, so I'm excited for that matchup to go against him. Their defense is, they're a veteran defense. They know what they're doing. They play hard. They play physical. Um, so I'm excited for us to, get a good test this week.
You want to get Gary Patterson speaking with you as the year. Do you see similarities in this group at all? Do you see things from remind you of going against these things back then?
I think here and there, definitely not the whole thing, but I can see some of Coach Patterson's schemes he throws in there. Definitely, I've noticed a little bit of that on film.
How much of an impact is looking back both on and off the field for your team this season, and how do you think you can have these
Yeah, obviously he's probably the best player in the field when he steps on it. But also he's a great leader. He's a team captain. He's just great to be around. He's important for morale. So obviously on the field he's a game changer, and we definitely want him on the field. More importantly, off the field, he takes pride in being a leader and helping guys come along. So
how would you describe his leadership ability? That great off. What's that look like? What's his style?
he's just a positive guy. He's never down. He's never negative. Even when things are going bad, he's still picking guys up, trying to get them going. Before the West Virginia game, he gave, the on the field speech before the game started. So just things like that.
Alon, has the mentality changed for you guys at all from the start of the season now, where the start of the season you guys were underdogs, and now number 14 in the country, you've got a big target on your back. Is it still the same message from the beginning of the season?
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like we're still kind of underdogs in a way. I don't know what it is. I never feel like, the spreads are always, I'm not paying attention to that, but people aren't picking us by as much as you think. And I think that's the motivation for us. We still feel like underdogs. We're picked not to win this week as well. So it's a little motivation for us. I think we like to play in the underdog role.
Who keeps you guys loose in the field to keep your group
Um,
and how do they do it?
I would say probably Steve. Definitely Steve. He's a great guy. You've met him. He has a podcast. He's a great guy. I'm more the serious, fired up one that. So me and Steve contrast in that way, which is good, I think. I'll be fired up when we need it, and he can, get us to relax when we need it. So I think we have a good balance with that. Yeah, kind of. I think so. Yeah.
How much responsibility do you have as sitting on the call? Is that all you? Is that
It usually starts with me. With pass protection, I'll make the initial call where we're going, where we're sliding. But the guys also have input. If Coker sees something out here, he'll tell me, and then he'll say slide it this way, and we'll do that. So usually I'll start off the call, but they also have input. If they see something I don't, that will change it to that.
anything else for Alon?
Thank y'all.
We have Travis Hodges Tomlinson. We'll go straight to questions.
Good morning.
Trey, fourth turnover, I think, I guess, what's the thing clicking for you
Man, it's just the mentality of wanting to make a play, for my teammates and the team, and because as a defense we work so hard, and we work in and out of every week, trying to, become that defense for our offense. They've been playing really good this season, and we're just trying to step up whenever it's time to make a play. Whenever it's my chance to make a play, we want to do that.
For the offense, or what's that going to be?
I mean, honestly, we're just focusing on, what we have at hand. We haven't, thought about what they got going on over there as far as, what they do on film and everything else. So we're just focusing on what we got to do this week.
But you just smile when I ask that question.
Oh no, it's just I just smile because you brought up Coach Patterson.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, what kind of impact does that have on the game? I mean, he knows as much about you guys as anybody defensively. I mean, he can help both of you.
I feel like every athlete has a, he grows every year, so he knows us from last year. We take steps and we get better. So I mean, yeah, as a coach, once you recruit someone and you recruited them for that position or whatever, you kind of know their negatives and the positives. But as a player, I understand that we grow every year. So
So you've been matched up on some tall receivers. You had one against Saturday at Texas Tech. Do you have to change anything when you're going up against the 6'5", 6'10"?
mostly it's about physicality, and that's in my game. So and I understand that at the next level that'll be a big deal also. So whenever I get a chance to, it's a challenge, and I'm here for it.
Are you playing eyes? You playing hands? I mean, what's the read there on those guys at receiver? What else you doing?
For a bigger receiver, I'd rather be physical, play through the hands because, they have more length and they try to push off and do all the other stuff. So whenever I get a chance to, I like to get all in them and, force the incompletion. And if I can, get my head around, in time, we're downfield or whatever it is, or breaking on the route, then I'll just, intercept.
I'm sure you take pride in quarterbacks not trying you, but it's a lot more fun when they're trying to go at you. Like kind of take the different time doing on Saturday.
Yes, sir. It's always fun. I love the action and understanding that, you know, I have to have some type of stats. So if they come at me, I'm gonna do what I do. And, whenever they are trying me, it's fun for me. So I'm here for it.
What's the camaraderie like between you and Josh Newton? Kind of, you guys are both battling out there.
We the Lock Boys, man, and I'm just really proud of what Josh Newton is doing this year. He's helping out a lot, and just knowing that I have someone on the other side of me that has the same mentality, and the want to be as great, and it just keeps me going and the guys around. So I'm just applauding Josh Newton for what he's doing this year.
A lot was saying that you guys kind of feel like you're still in the underdog role. You feel that way?
Yes, sir. I mean, they gonna talk good about you when you winning, and if you was to do whatever that takes a step behind, then it goes back to what just like it was about the underdog thing. So that never goes away. But as a team, we just continue to do what we're doing and come out every Saturday with that same mentality, and we've had success so far.
Is it possible to block out all of the stuff around TCU, all of the focus on TCU this year?
Yes, sir, it is for sure. Understanding what the goal is, and that's to win a championship, and to understand that we're here for each other and we're doing this. Saying we started this type of culture that we're have been building, and is to block out the outside noise and worry about what we have going on. So as a team, we're more focused on what we got going on, and whatever goes on out there is what goes on out there. We're much more focused on what we have going on here.
What's the excitement level for you as a player to play in this type of game? Ranked team, college game day is going to be there. It's a night game. Playing in front of a big crowd. How excited are you as a player to play in these moments?
I'm very excited, man. I love big games, and that's where you know showcase who you really are, and as a team we understand that. So once we come out Saturday, it'll just be like any other game. We faced ranked teams in the past, and we've done what we've done. So this coming Saturday, we're gonna treat it just as we would any other game that we have, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. We all know LT is your uncle, but it seems like what you've done the past couple of years, being August as well, what you're doing this year. Do you feel like you kind of established your own legacy here at TCU outside of your family?
Yes, sir. I'm very grateful for what my uncle did do, and what he has done as far as the history and his legendary career. And individually, I'm just trying to you know be great as well. Pick up from those footsteps that he left off on, and continue out the legacy.
So how would trade a defensive back go after LT the running back?
Just like I go after any other running back, I'm gonna hit him. Man, it's crazy because every year I would tell, whoever it is asking about us, I get that type of question before every season, how I feel about this team. And even in the past, I've always thought that we would be an undefeated team. We've always had the talent. And for us to finally do what we're doing this year has been, you know, exciting for me. And, it's finally showing that my thoughts in the past have always been what it was. So I'm just very, grateful for what's going on this year. And, I can't thank God enough.
What do you credit, though, being the reason for you guys to change so fast? And y'all lost some of these games last year by three scores, and you're beating those teams this year. How did it happen so fast?
I feel like it started with the new staff as far as what they brought in. Understanding that they brought in a very passionate strength coach, and Kaz he gives us that mentality, and he also helps the guys that lack those type of mental things. And now everybody is on the same page. So now that we're on the same page and everyone wants the same thing as far as winning and being behind your brother no matter what's going on. Whether it's something that goes on in the game, something that goes on in practice. Understand that we're going to face adversity, and it's all about how we respond. So, the main thing has been, how we've responded mentally, and how you know, how our mental is going into every game.
How different do you feel physically at this point in the season as opposed to this point in previous season?
I've always had the same mentality every season. No matter what is going on, because at the end of the day, I'm a player as well, and I can't get down and get in my feelings about however the season is going on. Understanding that I play a big role on this team, so as long as I'm doing my part, doing my job, I gotta trust the others to do their job, and that's what has been going on this season. As far as everyone has been doing their job, and I'm just excited about what's going on.
But with all the college, we've heard about the nutrition, the hydration, and everything else. Physically, if you notice a difference though with your body right now as opposed to this time next year.
Yes, sir. Oh, for sure. They have done, the staff has done a very great job taking care of us, as far as how we eat and making sure that we stand on top of our nutrition, and then also, understanding that we have to get sleep also. And I feel like that has played a big role in our success this year. And for me, understanding that I run a lot. I get a lot of miles in every game, every practice, and they just do a great job of staying on top of my weight, and then also understanding that I have to push myself, and I also have to get in the weight room, to maintain that muscle and strength also. So they've done a very great job of what they've been doing and how they decided to go on with the season.
And you still never committed passing defense.
I haven't.
Anything else for Trey? Yeah. Trey, how impactful is Quentin Johnston for you and as this team, both on and off the field, and how big would it be?
Oh man, Quinn is a very exciting, player. As y'all have seen, very great player. He's gonna do great things, and it will be exciting to see him back out there this weekend. It'll be exciting to see the whole team back out there. But yeah, man, it just takes another. It's another problem for that defense. Understanding that Quinn is out there, and they can't try to favor whatever. So Quinn comes out there this Saturday. We're very thankful for it, but we also have other guys that are good as well.
How much does going up against the practice help sharpen your game?
I mean, it's iron on iron, man. Iron sharp as iron, just like we've been talking about all season. Uh, we go against each other every day, all day. Whenever we go good on good, so going against Quentin is always a great deal for me. It keeps me, what I'm saying, on my toes, and I'm understanding that it keeps him on his toes as well. So it's always a good deal whenever we're both out there in practice going against each other.
You said you never committed pass interference, so who's winning those matchups in practice? You or him?
I mean, you have to come out there and see. Yeah.
Thanks, Trey. Appreciate it. Well,
So,
Coach
all right,
Price
y'all have a good
next.
day.
Thanks, Trey. How many hours a night do you get to sleep? See you, man.
Yeah, looking forward to getting back on the practice field this morning. And had a good practice. It's an interesting time of year. You're trying to balance, getting enough work, but also trying to get your guys rested as much as possible and take care of them as much as you can physically, and I think honestly mentally as much as anything else. Our schedule's a little bit unique. We had an open week, um, really after week 2, so we've played a bunch of games in a row. And I think this is always the time of the year you start to get a little bit concerned about physical fatigue and mental fatigue, and trying to figure out how to balance that. And so we let our guys sleep in a little bit more kind of this week than we have in the past, and we'll continue to do that moving forward, which I think is good. It's a good cumulative effect of 30 minutes of extra sleep, and hopefully that adds up. Hopefully they'll go to bed at the same time, and you get 2 more hours of sleep during the week. And with the time change moving back, hopefully the guys got another extra hour of sleep, and all that stuff is important and adds up. And so we're kind of at that point of the year where that's a conversation daily that we're having. What's too much work, what's not enough, and what's we got to make sure we keep our physical presence and our physical edge. I think it's been a really important part of some success that we've had this year. Has just been that. And but we're at that time of the year where all those things are concerns. And but again, guys had a great practice today. I felt like they were refreshed. And guys are excited to practice and looking forward to playing a big game Saturday. So excited about it. Yeah, I didn't practice today. I think it's just more kind of uh, trying to get him enough rest. I think that we felt good going into last week. I mean, quite frankly, I think I said this, but I was surprised that he didn't feel better. But at the same time, I have complete 100% trust in Quentin and the way he feels, and I know that he's wants to play. At the same time, we're going to always do what's best for Quentin, and certainly long term. So I would anticipate him practicing tomorrow. I think that's been the plan all week, was to give him a couple days off and let him get healed up a little bit, and then we'll go see what he can do tomorrow. And our hope is, he'll be fine tomorrow, and kind of proceed from there. Yeah, we had some conversations about it, and I think the biggest thing, like I said, is you don't, that's a hard job as a coach. Sometimes your players want to play, and then your job is to, protect him from himself in some ways. I think that's, everybody involved in a football program is competitive by nature. Otherwise, you just don't survive. Um, and so I think as coaches, sometimes we all, we got to do a good job of protecting ourselves from ourselves, and sometimes you got to protect the players from themselves. And that's part of, part of the big picture things that we have to do as coaches is to try to make those decisions that we think is best for, long term as opposed to short term. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if our guys know that. You know what I mean? I mean, um, I don't know how many games we've been the underdog in this year. I'm assuming it's happened before. I think it has a couple of times, but yeah, I don't think our guys pay much attention to that. I mean, I think like anything else, we were the underdog in a bunch of games preseason because we were picked 7th or 8th. You know what I mean? So we were going to be an underdog in about probably 9 of the 12, just from a expectation standpoint. So I think the guys have paid attention to stuff that we can control, and that's the way we practice and play, and our effort certainly in the game, and trying to perform and execute and all that. I do think that there's always extra motivation, when you play against a big brand team, whether it's Oklahoma, whether it's Texas, whether it's whomever. Um, I mean, they got a lot of Twitter followers and TikTok followers and all that, and our guys are aware of that, and so that's just the way it is. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What Gary's role is there. I mean, what I'm saying. I just it's hard for me to evaluate that. I mean, I know Gary's a very good coach. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. I know he obviously, knows our players. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I don't have any idea how that's going to affect the game.
Just going off that, he used to have this pyramid like right
Yeah.
there, fill it up in football. Sometimes it could be discouraging like walking past that and not
Yeah.
having it all filled up. You said something unique last week where you didn't have any goals at the beginning of the season. Can you just kind of expand on that?
Yeah. I think, I just think that you got to be careful. Because what you can do, whether you intend to do it or not, I think sometimes you can, kind of set a ceiling on your program if you're not careful. And at the same time, part of, I think, any success that you're going to have with the young people is by being honest with them and brutally honest with them. And I think that they appreciate that, and I've said this before, but I mean, I can remember, coaching teams where, you know, where we had conversation with those players and it was like, look, we need to try to win a game. You know what I mean? Just one game. And so, you know, because that's where we were as a program, and I think that for me, coming here, the program had obviously had some success in the past. And, you know, we knew that there was some talent here because we played against TCU and we were at the previous school. And so there was, a little bit more of an understanding maybe of what we had. And then, the transfer portal allows you to kind of fill in gaps where sometimes in the past that might take a year or two, maybe 3 years. Now you can address things a little bit more quickly. And so, and then you got to sit back and see how the pieces come together. So for us, I mean, we felt like we had a chance to have a good team. I hadn't coached in the Big 12 in a long time. It's a different league than it was. I mean, last time I was in the league, Nebraska and Colorado and Texas A&M were in the league. So that tells you how long ago it was. And so, we didn't really know what we were capable of. And we told our players that, but we said, look, we think we have a chance to be pretty good. And let's just take it one game at a time and not say, let's try to get to a bowl game and that's as good as it's going to get, because we didn't know. And so, I think in some ways, we might have exceeded expectations up to this point externally. I don't know that we have internally. I don't know that anybody's really that surprised. And it's like anything else. I mean, you have to be fortunate to get on a run. I mean, you have to have some breaks and, now again, you could argue, do those happen or do you create them? I don't know. I mean, somebody someday will figure that out, I guess, some physicist or numbers guy or math guy or somebody. But, I think that, I just always believed that let's just roll out there every Saturday and do our best and see where that takes us. And then we'll reevaluate that. And I think, we're kind of at that point now where, our expectations are probably, or our goals are probably higher than they would have been initially. And so I think that it served us well up to this point. So why change? Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of seen that. I mean, that's been a pretty common thread for us, and it really started probably as much in the Oklahoma State game where we saw a lot of things different early, then carried over to Kansas State. Obviously, they had a quarterback change at Kansas State, so it was a little bit different than what we anticipated. A little less quarterback run, and a little bit more passing game, and some runs that were different. So, what Texas has done a good job of is scheming people up early in games and making some big plays and creating some good matchups and execute, at a high level and figuring out ways to get their best players the football. And so what we have to do, it's like anything else, we've got to keep the ball in front of us and tackle. That's going to be really, really important, is tackling well and not just one guy, but 2, 3, 4, 5 guys run into the football because they've got good enough skill to where they can either make you miss or they can run through you. And so when you face those kind of people, running to the ball, it's always important, but it becomes even more important. Just because there's going to be times you have to rally to the football. And so Texas has done a nice job doing that. And and that's kind of been a little bit of a challenge for us. So that's certainly an area that we need to improve in. And I think that it's going to be a big challenge for us.
So are you getting your end about starting fast? You think we can do to be intentional or are you?
Yeah. I mean, we do it all the time. I mean, it's like if you watch us practice, we every single day we go a team period, period one of practice, and it's really for that very intention to get guys to understand, hey, look, we got to come out ready and focused and execute at a high level early. And so, that's something that we do all the time year round. And, we've gotten off to pretty good starts, but then it seems like that we've faded a little bit after getting off to a good start. So we just have to play better, in the first half of the game. Um, I think that's just going to be important for us to do moving forward, and we've been fortunate to be able to survive some slow starts. But it's going to get harder and harder to do that. Yep. Yeah, I think he's just playing really good football. I mean, he started a little slow. He missed most of fall camp. It probably took him a month to kind of get to where he needed to be and where he wanted to be. And I think since then he's played like we expected him to play, and he's got a lot of confidence. He's very competitive. I think that's the thing about him. Those two things more than anything else. And I think those are probably when you sit down and you say, okay, what is a cornerback? What are the characteristics of a cornerback? And you got to have, it begins with competitiveness, and then you got to be confident, and then you got to, be physical. And he's done that. And then you've got to, um, be able to change directions, which again he can do physically. And so, you sit down, you look at it all. I mean, everybody knows Trey's not the tallest guy in the world, but he does such a good job early in routes of getting his body on defenders, where I think that helps him negate size advantage sometimes. And then again, he's just incredibly competitive and fights hard for those balls, and never wants to give anybody a catch. And he's confident. If he gives up a play, he realizes, hey, look, I'm going to get another opportunity, and I'm going to make the play next time. And he's got a short memory, and I think that's important for that position. Yep. Yeah. It'll be Shad, and then we can, bounce some guys around if we need to. And thought our linebackers really played well last week, and thought Shad really played well for a guy that's fairly limited in his reps at that position. Thought he really played well, and I mean, Shad's a really outstanding athlete, and he's still learning how to play that position. But I really liked what I saw last week. I think he did a good job of playing with discipline, and that's a hard position to play. You've got to obviously you got to play physical, but you also got to be able to cover people, and you got to be able to zone drop, and you got to be able to blitz, and you got to play physical and tackle, and all these different things. And it takes a lot of different skills to play linebacker. And I thought again, Shad has adjusted really well to that position, despite some inexperience. No, I never have. I remember talking to Mike Stoops when I was at Arizona about putting Rob Gronkowski back there, and he said if you put him back there, you're going to get fired. So I didn't put him back there. Yeah. Yeah, he has. Yeah, Tay's just a really mature guy. It's funny, he and Darius are kind of cut from the same cloth. They're both not the biggest guys in the world, but they're both really good football players, and they're both really tough, really competitive. Tay is a guy that is incredibly consistent. I think that everybody, and in particular our quarterbacks, really have an appreciation for him because they know where he's going to be play after play. He's always where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. He's just a model of consistency. He makes plays when he has opportunities to. He's got a really kind of unique skill set. He can do a lot of things well. Um, and he's just a really good football player. And I think that he's one of those guys that the farther you get into a season, the more you realize how valuable he is. He just can do so many different things for you, and does a great job on special teams and all the different things for us. Yeah, it's big. Yeah, it's always big. I mean, look, Quentin's kind of our go-to guy, and so, when we didn't have him last week, I think, going into the game, we felt like we would, and we felt like that was going to be a good matchup for us. And, so we had a pretty heavy game plan for him, and all of a sudden he's not in the game, and so a good bit of kind of what you plan for, all of a sudden it's not there, and so we've got guys obviously that can step up. I thought Blair Conright really did a great job last week, but Quentin's just such a physical presence and he gets a lot of attention because he should. I mean, and he's capable of making big plays, and so when he's not there, it obviously hurts us. And our hope is that he's there this week, and I think we'll hopefully plan a little bit more for the for the reality that he may not be there. But at the same time, our hope is that he is. Yeah, I think Quentin's got a lot of confidence, and I think he brings that to the table. I mean, again, it kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. Just a really unselfish guy that shows up every day and works really hard. He's a guy that has a lot of talent, and I think everybody in our program appreciates the fact that it's never about him. He could be one of those guys that says, "Hey, look at me, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this," and it's more of we and us, and what can I do to help the team than it is, "Hey, look at me." And um, again, that's why I truly believe that's why this team has probably exceeded expectations because of a lot of guys like that, that are good players in leadership roles, because you know not everybody's like that.
Have you noticed a big difference in the Texas offense with Quinn Ewers being quarterback compared to when Hudson was playing?
Oh, I think that yeah. I mean, I think things like that always change depending on who the quarterback is, just because every quarterback has different strengths and weaknesses and things that they're comfortable with. And Quinn's got a really good skill set. I think he's got a big arm and can make all those throws, and so I think there's a tendency when you do that to scheme some plays a little bit more down the field, and um, and again stuff that he's just comfortable throwing. So I don't know that it's as much for you know there's a difference in our offense when Chandler was our quarterback and then when Max was our quarterback, just because they bring different things to the table, and I think that's just kind of the nature of that position. Um, but I mean, they're gonna Quinn Ewers is certainly not one of those guys that you say, well, we can't run these plays because he can't make these throws. You know what I mean? So the playbook is going to be fully open and available when he's your quarterback, just because he's so talented. Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming.